and welcome to Parliament Weekly, your home for the biggest, juicy and most important news out of the Nigerian Parliament every week. I am Sharon Ebosomi. The House of Representatives on Tuesday observed a minute silence for Ivan Onose, Omorina, and other victims who tragically lost their lives as a result of stray bullets fired by officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Adana, Delta State. The lawmakers also urged the Inspector General of Police to take over the investigation and prosecution of the officers involved in the shooting and killing of Ivan Onose and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. The NDLEA and all other law enforcement agencies were also urged to provide regular training and sensitization programs for their officers in the appropriate use of firearms, conflict resolutions, de-escalation techniques, and respect for human rights. It didn't end there. The House also mandated its Committee on National Security and Intelligence and Human Rights, when constituted, to effectively monitor the activities of the law enforcement agencies, including conducting regular evaluations, reviewing incidents, and recommend appropriate actions to prevent similar occurrences. These resolutions were contained in a motion calling for investigation and prosecution of the officers involved in shooting and killing of Ivan Onose, sponsored by Rep. Unime Idem, PDP, Akwa Ibom.
Mandates the Committee on Human Rights, when constituted, to ensure that the family of Onose are adequately compensated for their loss and report back within 6 weeks. And 5, also mandates the Committee on National Security and Intelligence, when constituted, to effectively monitor the activities of law enforcement agencies.
Honorable colleagues, take your seat, please.
Including conducting regular evaluations, reviewing incidents, and recommend appropriate action to prevent similar occurrences, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
In another development, the Senate has resolved to set up another committee to come up with a compendium of federal roads affected by erosion across the country to be forwarded to the executive arm for urgent intervention. This was sequel to a motion titled Collapse of Road Infrastructure in Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Barao Jibrin, APC Kano North, and co-sponsored by 107 others. Leading the debate, the Deputy President of the Senate, who observed that there is barely any part of the country that can boast of a motorable road, added that several federal roads are in deplorable conditions. He also noted that many federal roads have been awarded for either construction or rehabilitation, but the contractors end up abandoning the project.
Erosion has created deep gullies, thereby cutting off some communities from other parts of the country. Also aware that some of these federal roads have been awarded for either construction or rehabilitation, only to be abandoned by the contractors after moving to site. Observes that several trillions of naira have been spent on road construction and rehabilitation in Nigeria since democracy returned to Nigeria in 1999, with minimal impact on our roads. Also observes that the collapse of the road infrastructure or the poor state of road infrastructure has virtually cut off many parts of Nigeria, with attendant negative impact on trade and commerce.
Just before I go on into the next stories, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do, so that you don't get to miss out on any of our juicy content on this channel. And please don't forget to like this video, comment, and share. Moving on, the House of Representatives at its sitting on Wednesday expressed concern over the effect of recent hike in price of premium motor spirits on Nigerians. To this end, it summoned the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, and independent marketers in the country to appear before the Parliament to explain the rationale behind the sudden increase. The decision followed the adoption of a motion on the urgent need to investigate the persistent increase in the price of PMS in Nigeria. The sponsor of the motion, Rep. Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, PDP Imo, decried the unilateral increase in the price of fuel to 617 naira per litre, adding that it has resulted in a sudden increase in the cost of transportation, which inadvertently affects other areas, including the price of food.
Nigerians wake up to the increment of fuel from an average price of 550 naira to 617 naira per litre. Other marketers across the country have followed suit. The resultant effect is an overnight increase in the cost of transportation across the country, and of course, we're expecting a hike in price of food in the coming days because the price of fuel affects the price of everything in the market. Mr. Speaker, this is the People's House, and we represent the interests of Nigerians. And if this is allowed to continue, the fear is that fuel price will be sold at 1,000 naira per litre by the end of the year.
The Senate has urged the Federal Ministry of Labour, Employment and Productivity and other relevant agencies to discourage public and private employers from publishing job advertisements with implicit biases that deprive qualified Nigerians of gainful employment based on age. This is as lawmakers also called for equality in the ministry to promptly formulate policies that promote equal opportunities and fair treatment in access to employment for all citizens across the country. The call was contained in a motion on the urgent need for intervention, age requirement preconditions for employment in Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Abba Moro, PDP, Benue South. Presenting the motion, Senator Moro acknowledged the public outcry regarding the continuous violation of Chapter 4, Section 42, Subsection 2 of the Constitution as amended. This constitutional provision guarantees every citizen the right to freedom from discrimination. Well, at this juncture, I believe it is safe to say goodbye on this week's episode. My darling viewers, I would see you next week.